When is Caitlin Clark coming back? Stephanie White details major development in Fever Star's latest injury update. The WNBA playoff race is heating up, but the buzz around the league comes with a downside: missing stars. As Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart gear up for returns later this month, all eyes in Indiana turn to the team's biggest name. And there's still no sign of when she'll suit up again. Is Caitlin Clark back in practice? Caitlin Clark has watched from the sidelines since going down with a right groin injury during the Indiana Fever's July 15 game against the Connecticut Sun. Now 10 consecutive games missed, and with the Fever's recent 5-game win streak snapped, the pressure is mounting for an answer about her return. Leading up to the Indiana game against the Dallas Wings, Fever beat writer Chloe Peterson checked in with head coach Stephanie White for any updates on Clark's recovery. Once more, Coach White told fans to be patient as the guard works her way back. No return to practice. She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running with all her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moves, but not into practice yet, said White. Even with some good news about Clark's individual progress, the tension in Indiana is real. Sitting 5th in the standings with 18 wins, the Fever are in a position to climb, especially with the New York Liberty and Phoenix Mercury slowing down. The climb, however, looks steep without their star on the court. This season has been rough for Clark, who has suited up for only 13 of Indiana's 32 games so far. The injuries just keep coming. First a left quad strain, then left groin trouble, and now the right groin. Last Monday on ESPN's NBA Today, White repeated that the team won't rush her back. "It's day-to-day right now, we're putting no timetable on it," White said. "She is going through the rehab process, and then we want to reintegrate her from a strength and conditioning standpoint, and then get her back to basketball activities. So we're taking it one day at a time, really slow rolling it, slow playing it this time. The most important thing for us is Caitlin's long-term health and getting her back to 100% before we put her back on the floor." While the Fever know Clark could be a difference maker in the playoff push, nobody wants to risk another setback. For now, White's plan is simple: keep Clark off the court until she's truly ready, focusing on her long-term recovery over wins in the regular season. The Indiana Fever practice facility buzzed with more energy than usual. A row of cameras lined the back wall, reporters shuffled in with notebooks ready, and somewhere near the baseline, a familiar sound echoed: basketball against hardwood, crisp and clean. It had been nearly 3 weeks since Caitlin Clark's ankle injury sent a ripple of anxiety through the Fever fanbase. The team had adjusted, fought, and even stolen a couple of gritty wins without her, but her absence left a visible gap. Today, head coach Stephanie White had promised an important update. The atmosphere before the update. Fans had been living on scraps of social media clues. Grainy practice footage of Caitlin jogging in a hoodie. A quick clip of her laughing with teammates on the sideline. A photo of her standing without a brace. The speculation churned daily. Was she close? Could she play this weekend? By the time White stepped up to the podium, the entire room leaned forward. Stephanie White speaks. White wasn't one for dramatic flair, but today, she allowed a small smile before delivering her words. "We've hit a big milestone," she began. "Caitlin's been cleared for controlled scrimmage work. She's moving without pain, her conditioning's looking strong, and, barring any setbacks, we're targeting her return for next week." The room erupted into rapid-fire typing and whispered reactions. White went on to explain the cautious approach they'd taken. "We've all seen athletes rush back too soon. That's not going to be Caitlin. She's too important, not just to our team, but to the league, to take unnecessary risks. This milestone is huge because it means her ankle has responded exactly how we'd hoped." Inside the recovery process, Caitlin's rehab had been relentless but carefully managed. The first days were about swelling control, ankle stability work, and letting the ligaments heal. By the second week, she was back in the weight room, working on single-leg balance drills, resistance band strengthening, and even upper body conditioning circuits to keep her overall game sharp. Her competitive side made patience hard. "She's the type to sneak into a shooting drill when you're not looking," White admitted with a chuckle. "We had to keep an eye on her." In the third week, she graduated to light on-court work, jogging through sets, shooting stationary jumpers, then eventually incorporating defensive slides and short bursts. The latest development, full-speed cutting and pivoting, was the final hurdle before real game action. What teammates have noticed? Aaliyah Boston, her frontcourt partner, said the change was obvious. You can tell when she's itching to go. She's been flying around in practice, calling out plays, getting in passing lanes. It's like she's storing up energy. Nalissa Smith added. Even when she's not on the floor, she's locked in. She's talking to us, telling us what she sees from the sideline. That's leadership, and you can't teach it. The Fever without Clark. Indiana's offense had been a patchwork in her absence. Fewer deep threes, more half-court sets, and a heavier reliance on Boston's postgame. The Fever had been competitive, but without Clark's floor vision, fast breaks often sputtered and defensive attention wasn't as spread. Still, White credited the team for growing in her absence. We've learned how to win different kinds of games. When Caitlin comes back, she's stepping into a group that's tougher, more versatile, and more confident than when she left. Caitlin's own perspective. Later that afternoon, Caitlin spoke briefly with reporters after practice, her hair pulled back, a thin layer of sweat still on her forehead. I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard sitting out, she admitted. But it's also been a good learning experience. You see the game differently when you're on the sideline. You notice small details, tendencies, timing. I think that'll help me when I'm back. Asked about her target return, she smiled. Coach already said next week, so I guess I can't play coy. All I'll say is, when I do step back on the court, I'm ready to go full throttle. The fan reaction. The announcement spread quickly online. Within hours, Fever tickets for the next home game were nearly sold out. The team's social media posts, highlighting White's big milestone quote, were flooded with celebratory emojis, gifs of Clark's deep threes, and messages from fans planning road trips. One fan wrote, I don't even live in Indiana, but I'm driving 6 hours. I need to see her first game back.